Hi, I'm Sarah from sarahkbrandiscontent.com. Usually my YouTube videos are short how-to lessons on various aspects of content marketing. Today's video is a little different and a little more personal. I want to talk about how I'm coping as a content creator with chronic fatigue. And I'm sharing this because I feel like there's a fair chance that some of my followers on here or on other platforms are needing to create content for their small business, for their content marketing, but are perhaps struggling for the same reasons that I've been struggling lately. Perhaps they're tired or ill as well. We don't know the full picture yet because I'm waiting to be able to have tests, but it's quite possible that my CF came from an early case of coronavirus 6 months ago. So, but we don't know. So, but whatever it was, yeah, I'm knackered. I'm not new to being knackered, of course. As adults, we all go through phases of this. I have hit burnout twice before in my freelance career, and this recent illness started around Christmas, New Year, and my doctor and I, because coronavirus wasn't really talked about at that point, it was a faint whisper on the other side of the world. She talked to me about it being chronic fatigue, and then we had this inkling that there was something going on with my sleep. So I was getting sent off to a sleep lab to be tested for sleep apnea, which, looking back now, you think, breathing difficulties, that's interesting with coronavirus. But yeah, of course, I never made it to the lab because all non-urgent medical stuff got cancelled because of the pandemic, and here we are. So sort of 6 months later, I'm still just trying to recover from whatever the heck I had. But it's really affecting my work, and there could be a lot of people out there in this position as well. So this actually started as an article on medium.com, and I'm going to go through the points on the article because it was quite well received, and I thought it might be good to share it here on YouTube as well. So a couple of apologies. You're going to notice this video is quite heavily edited because I'm going to be stopping and looking at my article and then coming back and making sure that I don't miss anything out. Yeah, I'm going to make mistakes like that as well. So sorry, it's just the tiredness. And also, look at my puffy face. This video and the one before it about Facebook advertising, you'll notice that I'm puffy. I think that's just a symptom. So excuse my crazy face and bear with me and we'll get through this. So how I'm getting through and managing as a content creator with this chronic tiredness, tip number 1, is that I've cut back on video creation. If you follow this channel, if you're a subscriber, then you will have noticed that I haven't been posting as regularly. I'm just going to sneeze, bear with me. Sorry, that's the first of many edits, I'm sure. So the thing about video creation is that it takes a lot of time compared to other forms of content creation. Even more so if you're like me and you won't go on camera without doing hair and makeup. So if you were going on au naturel, that would save a bit of time. But for me, not that comfortable. I would rather do my hair, put some makeup on, and also tidy up the background. Because what you're not supposed to know as a viewer of my YouTube channel is that this is not my office. This is just a corner of our bedroom because we're in a one bed at the moment. So fingers crossed that changes next year. Watch this space. Anyway, I do find that with the prep, the talking to camera, which can get quite tiring, and the editing afterwards, that creating video content is quite energetically costly. So I've not stopped, as you can see, I'm here right now, but I'm doing less of it. And this leads us on to tip number 2. So tip number 2 is to refocus on something less energetically costly. And that could be anything. I mean, maybe you're a Pinterest person who likes to go and do that stuff, but for me it's writing. So I've refocused on my writing. Honestly, writing was my first love anyway. And it's not that I ever fell out of love with it, it's just that I got really excited by new media and YouTube and all that sort of thing. But I found that writing is really soothing because I love it so much, and because it's the thing I've done for the longest, it's the easiest for me, so it just flows, so it's not energetically costly. And also, it doesn't matter what I look like, so I can write articles all day long in my pyjamas from my bed. So when you're not well, that's exactly what you want. So tip number 3 is that I've reorganized my calendar and I've spread out my client work now. So whereas I used to try and squish it all into long days so that I could get client work done, and then have different days in the week that were free just to do my own content creation, I've now, because I can't get through a whole day of client work without needing a nap or a break or something, so I've split it up into chunks. So I'll do half days of client work, take a break in the middle of the day, nap if I need to, and then go and do my content creation later, or the other way around, but I tend to prefer to do the client work early, break, and then my work, but whatever works for you. So tip number 4 is that I've made content creation my priority over other things, so really over my hobby. You can't prioritize it over everything, but I had still have a big adventure-based hobby, in that I am a very enthusiastic but very amateur endurance runner. So I've had to stop marathon training and I've had to say no to marathons for all of this year. Funny that the pandemic meant that everyone is saying no to marathons this year. Didn't know that when I planned it. But yeah, I've had to just really stop doing the crazy exercise and having big adventures for a while because, you've got to pay the bills. Career's got to come first. At least at this time in my life, that's true for me. So yeah, I've just had to cut back on doing bonkers long runs and instead do smaller amounts of graded exercise, they call it, when you've got chronic fatigue. So things that don't push you over that threshold where you recrash every time. It's about getting just enough endorphin going without the crash. So yeah, that's fun. It's a bit boring, but it's what I have to do. Career is priority right now. And the final tip is not really about content creation at all. It's just a general life thing, and that's that I spend time in nature. And in my article on Medium, I said in brackets, I spend time in nature, in brackets, just not running 20 plus miles in it. So no crazy endurance running at the moment, just walks, jogs, bike rides, sitting in nature is perfectly fine. I've kind of had to retrain myself a bit to slow down. I think that I'm not naturally a slow down type of person, and that's probably what's pushed me to burn out and finally get this sick as well. So it's been a lot of retraining, a lot of dealing with feelings of frustration at not being able to do all the things I used to do, and I really hope that I can get that back one day soon and start marathon training again because I love it. And it's a part of my content creation as well. It inspires some of the things that I create. But for now, I've had to learn to allow myself to just stop and to just sit in nature as well. Don't just sit indoors, that's depressing. Don't stare at Netflix all the time, depressing. Get outside. And that's really it. So that's what I'm doing to cope. I'm still going, as you can see. I'm still creating content. I'm still enjoying what I do very much. It's just I've got to do it in a more considered way. So if you are in a similar position, if you're feeling constantly exhausted and can't for the life of you figure out what's wrong, do talk to your doctor if you can on a video call, since we're not allowed in the GP surgeries right now. Yeah, I think you just have to, it's acceptance, isn't it? That's been the hard thing for me. You just have to accept where you're at and work with what you've got. That's probably a good place to leave it. All right, I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.